Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you, and Mike Papantonio is still with us. Hey, Pap.
Tom, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for filling in for me for that first half hour.
It's always fun.
I so appreciate it. So what is at the top of your head right now? What's got you cranked?
Well, I'll tell you, I did a story this week for the radio segment of Ring of Fire. I just thought was so interesting, and it is. We always talk about this division of the Republican Party. I think you and I have been talking about this for 2 years, but now it's been turned up full tilt. And what we're seeing now is you have Karl Rove has created this Frankenstein monster. It's now unleashed. It's now moving about the country in by way of people like Matt Bevin in Kentucky, who's running against Mitch McConnell. We're seeing race after race of really. I don't state this. This is a solid statement. Wingnuts in their truth. It's like canned crazy has finally been freed. The freak show warm-up is now at full tilt. Clown cars are pulling up everywhere. And so right now, what's so funny to watch to me is that you've got guys like Tony Perkins, with the Christian right, who is making this statement that now is our time. We have the greatest potential to have the greatest impact right now. Your religious liberties are being stolen from you. Americans are descending into a quagmire of self-destructive socialism run by the gay entities and every other awful thing, according to Tony Perkins, and that your religious liberties have been taken away. Now, what this is really about is you have the Koch brothers still at war. Okay, they've just changed. What they've done is they've slightly changed the narrative. Before it was just you remember, it was just the Tea Party. Now it is the Christian Tea Party, the Christian Tea Party right, that is putting up these candidates. And I could not make up some of the stories about how crazy are they. Representative Frank Wolf, you've got a guy named Richard Black contesting the Republican primary to replace a guy named Frank Wolf in Virginia. Now, Black is the guy who says, I don't know how you could validly get a conviction of a husband and wife rape. It just is not right.
What?
In other words, what he's doing, he's coming out and he's supporting the idea that it's okay for a
marital
husband
rape.
Yeah, it's just fine. And you've got these stories go on forever. It's incredible material. You've got Chris McDaniel running against Thad Cochran, who's already a crazy right freak in every regard. He says one of his platforms is, I'm going to change what Hollywood does if I'm elected, because right now there's a lack of Muslim. You don't think I'm making this up, but I'm not. There's a lack of Muslim villains in Hollywood films right now, and we need to do something about it. But these stories, the edge of crazy has been fully opened, Tom, and it's just out of control. And truthfully, McConnell can't do anything about it. Rove can't do anything about it. Fox News can't do anything about it.
It's coming out of these right-wing billionaires, principally the Koch brothers, who are funding this stuff. And I'm wondering, what's the end game? It seems to me, Pap, that I mean, you look back on history. You go back to Russell Kirk in 1951. He wrote the book *The Conservative Mind* that was the foundation for Barry Goldwater and for Bill Buckley and all those guys. And he said in '51, if the middle class gets too large and too affluent, America is going to become destabilized, and that will be a destructive thing for American society. And in the '60s, as the middle class reached the peak of affluence in the history of the world. You saw women demanding rights, young people saying, hell no, I won't go to war, African-Americans saying, hey, it's our turn. You have the Civil Rights Act. By 71, you had the cities burning. In 69, you had Stonewall. Gays were saying, what about us? And everybody was smoking pot and taking acid. And the people on the right, now Thomas Jefferson would have loved this because he thought that change was a good thing. But conservatives historically think that change is a bad thing. Or at least it should be very, very slow and gradual and incremental. And so you had all these guys on the right say, holy cow, Russell Kirk was right. We've got to strip a lot of this wealth away from the middle class because these people have too much time on their hands and too much money. And they have succeeded. I mean, they've thrown a third of what used to be the middle class into the working poor. They've thrown the students $1 trillion into debt when it used to be you could go to college for free. and or for damn close to it. You could work a part-time job through the summer and pay for your tuition. And it seems to me like the end game of this is to take us back to Dickens' England, to a stable society where you've got
controllable, stable society.
Exactly, my point. Yeah, because that's the natural state of capitalism. Actually, is Dickens' England. A middle class is not a normal thing. Middle classes have to be created by government policy that represses or reduces the power of the super wealthy and enhances the power of working people relative to their employers. And if you don't do those things, a working class middle class will not emerge. The only kind of middle class that ever emerges is what you had during Dickens' time, which is a middle class of professionals, doctors and lawyers, and mercantilists, shop owners. That's it. Yeah. And Scrooge and Marley Scrooge was a middle class guy. He was a small business owner who had 2 employees, himself and Bob Cratchit. And Bob Cratchit was the working poor. And I'm wondering, are the Koch brothers, with this whole libertarian thing and this like, let's fuel the crazy on the right, are they really working toward that vision that Russell Kirk talked about in 1951 of let's literally destroy the American middle class so we can have a plutocracy, basically, and have a very healthy and stable country from the point of view of the very rich?
Yeah, I get that very well. Matter of fact, Richard Perlman, wrote the book on the Nixon years, if you recall.
Yeah.
I think you interviewed him one time. I believe I saw your interview with him. I know I did, and I was very impressed with his message. It's the same message you just delivered. If you think about it, what Nixon was able to do with his dirty tricks kind of guys, he was able to go out and he was able to scare the hell out of the American public into saying, look what's happening. People are in the streets over the war. People in the streets over drug abuse. Drug abuse is at all times high.
Women are burning their bras. People want abortions.
And so what he did is he had people like Segretti. You remember the name Segretti?
Oh, yeah, Donald Segretti.
Okay, so you had people like Segretti that were able to take that and mold it and actually create the mantra to where we've lost control. Now, let me jump now to 2014. This is the same thing. The Kochs are saying to this Christian right Tea Party, look, we have lost control. You have gays who now have rights that they've never had. You have a socialist president who is taking us to the edge, to the abyss.
And by the way, have you looked at the color of his skin?
Yeah. Yeah, by the way, he happens to be African American, and that's scary. And so we're seeing a repeat of that. Perlman had, I think, said the same thing that you just laid out, and it is that this was repeating itself. This is simply a remake of what happened in Nixon land, I believe was the name of the book.
Right.
But it was so well done. I was just absolutely so captivated by it. As a matter of fact, I'm inclined to go back and reread that book because it has such an impact for what we're seeing right here with people like Tony Perkins. Tony Perkins doesn't care about any of this stuff. Tony Perkins is a fraud. I mean, in the true sense, he's a fraud.
Same with Ralph Reed.
Of course. Yeah. But what now has happened is you have this alliance between the money guys. The Koch said, you remember we came out with Tea Party and it worked pretty well for us. Now we have to amp it up. It has to be the Christian right Tea Party. That's what it's become.
Right. Yeah. Part of that is let's put on a show so that they don't notice what we're doing with the tax code. They don't notice what we're doing with the international trade policy. Yes. They don't notice what we're doing with the courts. They don't notice what we're doing with products that kill people.
Right.
It's like bread and circus.
Yeah. Well, for somebody to watch, I'm always amazed at how you hear the rank and file talk about the Taliban. Oh my God, they don't let women have any rights. They have to dress in an awful way. They don't have any liberties at all.
You can't dance.
You can't dance. This is the Taliban wingnut Christian right. That's what we're saying. And it's the reinvention of it, Tom. Now think about this. Think of how silent they have been for a while. Now the Christian right, they've been out there, but we haven't had a Tony Perkins out front saying, now is our time. Now is our time to reject conservative Beltway Republicans because they're socialist too, because they're ungodly too, because they don't do enough about stopping abortion, because they voted in, they're all behind gay rights issues. Now is the time, is the message, and now is the time is coming from the very people who invented these wingnuts to begin with. And we're just seeing it's just a new version of the Madison Project. Madison Project is out there. It's an awful it's just like the Senate Conservative Fund, which you're familiar with, I'm sure. Yeah. Those two organizations are putting huge money behind these races where you have frankly, they have a very good chance to unseat Mitch McConnell with this guy Matt Bevin.
Yeah, it's the kind of right-wing populism that we saw in the 20s and 30s in Spain, Germany, and Italy, frankly. I realize how people recoil at anything that, as soon as you mention Germany in the 30s, but it's right-wing populism.
Yeah, I don't understand that recoil too, and because there's so much truth to it. You know what it is? It is that we had the mainstream media say, "Oh, you can't talk about that. How dare you use it?" But it's the truth. We've seen some ugly things happening right here. Right?
Mussolini invented the word fascism. It's a merger of state and business interests.
Yes.
And so Mike Papantonio with us. We'll be back with more with Mike Papantonio here on the Thom Hartmann Program. 45 minutes past the hour, 15 minutes before the top of the hour. Steve.